What's going on out there, you wild Minnesotans? Your two favorite Fargo enthusiasts are back here tonight, don't you know? I'm Henry Hill, and that's my good mate over there.
I'm Logan Mars, you betcha then.
We are back tonight. We're reviewing the brand new season of FX's Fargo, Season 5, a show created by Noah Hawley. Four awesome seasons before it, some better than others, but as a collective whole, just a brilliant series that's taken a lot from the, movie from back in the day with William H. Macy, Frances McDormand. That's right, we're back and we're talking about season 5 of Fargo.
FX's Fargo premieres November 21st on FX. Stream on Hulu.
That's right, your favorite Minnesotans are back here. And of course, huge fans of the original film, Coen brothers, probably their magnum opus, in my opinion, probably their greatest and best film, 1996 Fargo. That really set, the universe up essentially, all having to do with, murder and suspense and, looking at normal people that turn out to be not so normal and have a violent side to them. And they really kind of dive into that throughout the 5 seasons. This season really kind of dives back into the first 2 seasons where it was, better, I think better writing, and really dives into normal people and crazy stuff that happens to them, trying to get robbed and just murder and things like that. But sets up the character of Juno Temple this season, probably, the first few episodes and definitely the standout for sure, but she's really fantastic, like a normal mom and has a dark side to her. But, from the setup of the first episode is really cool. They're at this like sort of town meeting around this fall festival, and just mayhem, people beating the shit out of each other, and ends up tasing the cop, and ends up being in jail. That really sets up her character.
Yeah, her character Dot, Dorothy Lyon. We learn about her character throughout the episode. Really always, around chaos. It seems like it's following her throughout her whole life. She has a young daughter and a super rich family. Apparently, they come from a lot of money. It doesn't tell you how they got their money. In these first couple episodes, that's kind of left up into your imagination. I'm sure they'll reveal that as the series goes on. But Jennifer Jason Leigh as Lorraine Lyon, and then you have Dave Foley as like their lawyer, and he's back there in the picture with the eye patch. So he's like the family's lawyer. So whenever anything happens, and it does in this first episode, of course, and it has to do with Dorothy and an attempted kidnapping, basically. And we find out old Dot, you can say, she knows how to fight back.
Dot, Dorothy, Juno Temple character is really great. From the setup of the episode, she ends up in jail, going back, trying to live a normal life, being a mom, and then it's a home invasion. They try to kidnap her. A few guys show up, and that's when you really see Juno Temple at her best here, is defending herself. And these guys are like, holy shit, this woman's a force to be reckoned with. And like, she ends up taking them down. Some really brutal and gory scenes, I would say. And this one guy behind me to the left goes kind of toe to toe against Dorothy's character, and it doesn't really end well for his ear.
No, and in typical Coen brothers fashion, a very unique look to the guy. His hair is, weird, kind of pumpkin pie shaped, sort of wears like a dress. Interesting mythology there to find out, the rest of the season, like how they ended up, whoever hired him. It'll be interesting to see. But these hitmen, yeah, they don't know who they're coming face to face with, and they find out really quick as the kidnapping goes wrong. And one of them ends up dead really quick, and the other one's, struggling to catch her and, take her out. But, Dorothy knows what she's doing. And I can't wait to learn more about that character, like what she's been through, like how did it end up like this? And by the end of the first episode, you kind of put the pieces together and you find out that it's going to have something to do with, that's right, John Hamm behind you there, a sheriff. Roy Tillman, he's going to be the main antagonist, is what it looks like it's setting up this season. And that it gets into his character. You see a glimpse of him in episode 1, but in episode 2, they really, that's when you get your introduction to him. This, very Texas lawman acting guy who's, straight by the law book, thinks he's a real badass. And has a very memorable introduction in the series, bearing it all as only John Hamm could do, the perfect guy to play this part. He can do comedy and drama, the best of anybody, and combining that into this character who we find out has a past with Dorothy.
Yeah, you find that out. That was kind of surprising to me, but John Hamm playing Roy Tillman was really fantastic. A role I haven't seen from him, the good looking the guy he was in Mad Men, and he's done comedy and other stuff like this. But this is, a dramatic role for him, playing more like a villain and a bad guy and a person you can't trust. But the setup of his character is really great in a hot tub, and then seeing what his character is about, being the sheriff and having to do like being associated with the bad guys. We got Joe Keery here from Stranger Things. His character Gator Tillman, which is also funny. Had a nice gentleman's haircut, and he's kind of a badass, complete opposite character of Steve from Stranger Things, but had some really great scenes with John Hamm's character in this.
Yeah, it's cool seeing him outside the Stranger Things world. We were used to seeing him as one character. I've seen him in a movie before, played a similar character, but this one, he really steps outside the box here, plays like this cool character who really wants to be like a badass lawman, like a SWAT kind of guy, has the cool haircut and everything. And kind of follows Roy around and models himself after Roy. You can tell they're a tight-knit duo there, and they're going to have to, it's going to be involved with Dorothy, of course, as the season goes on. We're not going to spoil anything more, but it's, all this season boils down to Juno Temple versus John Hamm. That's what we'll say. And, from these first couple episodes, Juno Temple, a great role from here, an opposite role coming off of Ted Lasso, where she played, in that series, very funny. Keely, she played in that, a totally different character in this, from Minnesota, I think is where they're supposed to be here. And it also has to do with North Dakota here, of course, being Fargo lore. Interesting how they did that. But yeah, I really was impressed with her performance in these couple episodes, channeling this person who has this rich family and who has this troubled past. And very mysterious how they set it up, but all the scenes with her were really cool, especially in that gas station scene where she's getting shot at and she has to hold her own. She has to set a tourniquet for a guy that gets shot. There's a lot going on here, and she's the main focus, and she killed it in these first couple episodes. And then you have John Hamm finally coming in onto the scene in episode 2 and instantly commanding the screen. His first, shot there coming out of the hot tub, buck ass naked. You see his ass on screen. It's just one of the all-time funniest, and only Fargo, could do this for an introduction for a character. So very interesting. All the moving pieces here, the rich family, finding out about the backstory between Roy and Dorothy. And as the season goes on, we're going to learn more and more about it. And with the writing of the show and Noah Hawley writing and directing, it's going to be really a cool story, and seeing everything come together in these 10 episodes. I can't wait. It's going to be a fun show to watch. And this season looks a lot more interesting right off the bat than the past couple. The Chris Rock season, which took place back in the day, that was back in 2019, 2020 that aired. So it's been a while. And then I think the one before that was with Ewan McGregor, I think. So it's coming off a couple seasons where I enjoyed them, but this one right off the bat, I think it's going to be a really good one that's going to harken back to the first couple.
Yeah, it's going back to the roots of this season. I can tell so far a few episodes in. Noah Hawley took control of this and was like, let's go back to, when people were really invested in this, and it kind of went off the rails there for a few seasons. So going back to what they know. And really, remarkable so far. I love the story here. I love the average people going a little crazy and dealing with murder and death and everything that comes across, small towns like this. They really dive into that, and it's paying homage, obviously, to the original movie, and, bringing in John Hamm and Juno Temple. 2 powerhouse performances in this season thus far, and supporting cast is really great. And I really enjoyed the cinematography, the directing in this. Writing was phenomenal. And I'm having a really great time with this, and it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out and what happens to these characters behind me, especially the goofy guy next to me, how that's all going to play out. But yeah, I had a great time with this. Really excited. Most anticipated show, one of them, of 2023. And can't wait to see where this ends. So that being said, I'm going to give the first few episodes of Fargo season 5, currently streaming, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 John Hamm cowboy hair pieces.
I'm going to give Fargo season 5, episode 1 and 2. I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5 Lyon hair pieces. Yeah, so we want to hear from everybody out there in Fargo land. What did you guys think of the first couple episodes of Fargo season 5? Let us know in the comment section below. And as always, don't forget to subscribe. Also, make sure to check out our webpage, Cinephellas.com, and follow along with us on all our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, and X, for all the latest and greatest in TV, movie news, and reviews.
So that about wraps it up for these two wild Minnesotians. I'm Logan Myers, my good mate over there.
And I'm Henry Tillman. And until the next Cinephellas TV review, cheers!